Hey everyone, Dan here. I hope you're awesome. Okay, this will be a fun day today. We are heading down to see Matt Gleeson at Monty's Guitars because I need him to do a bit of work for me. And I'll tell you why. About 20 years ago, I met the most extraordinary guitar player while I was living in London. His name is Mark Johns. He was playing for Ray Davies at the time. He actually became my first ever gig rig customer. Extraordinary guitar player, amazing jazz. His, acoustic work. He was first call London session guitar player. Anyway, we became really good friends, and Mark became my guitar teacher, and is still my guitar teacher to this day. I still get regular lessons from Mark. And, so while we're in London, I was having lessons with Mark and really getting into jazz. Now, when Mark left to move back to Australia, he gave me a present, which was this. So, this is an old Washburn J6 Jazzbox. And it's great. It sounds great. It plays beautifully. But there are a couple of issues with it that I want to get Matt down at Monty's to help me sort out. The pickups, barely work. There's a rattle in it, and it just needs some TLC and a good clean, I might add. Now, I've actually ordered a custom jazz guitar to be built by Johnny Kincaid. The only problem is some doofus made this video about how amazing Johnny's guitars are, and now I've got to wait 5 years for that guitar to be built. So I want to get this guitar sort of brought up to a level that I'm going to be really comfortable with it for the next 5 years. Like I said, it plays beautifully. I really do love it. And I love it as much as anything, as it was a gift from a very dear friend. So let's head down to see Matt at Monty's and let's see what he can do with this guitar. Have arrived. This is Matt from Monty's.
Hello.
And Matt is going to help me breathe new life into this behemoth of a thing.
Big old case.
Yeah. Right. So there you go.
Nice.
So it's more. So if you could fix that ding, that'd be great.
That'd be fine.
So the idea is,
Yeah.
as I've explained, I've got another guitar in order. Mm-hmm. It's going to be 5 years until that's ready. I love this guitar. It plays beautifully. The pickups works only sometimes.
Right.
And it just has been neglected for a long time.
Okay.
But I do love it, and it plays great, and I need this to be the guitar that I'm learning on to do the jazz stuff for the next 5 years.
Right.
I was thinking about putting flat wounds on.
Okay.
But I thought, no, I'll keep it to standard because I don't want it to be that far removed. When I pick up the telly, I don't want it to feel like a million miles away.
Okay.
So where do we start?
First off, so you're saying it's playing great?
Well, it's always played great, but it's a mess, obviously. So it needs a good clean. I don't know. I'll get you to have a look at it and tell me what you think as far as the frets are concerned. I think they just might need it clean. I don't think we need to go into fret dressing or anything like that. So I think the nut has been replaced at some point with a bone nut. So I think I think that stuff is okay. We might need to tweak the neck or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's filthy. Hang on, we're gonna just do a bit of a close up so everyone can see exactly how filthy this thing is. Right. What I do like about the neck is you can see that where it's been played isn't just down here. It's so this was a gift from my guitar teacher before he left to go back to Australia. So, you know, a lot of sentimental value, but it's a great guitar to play.
Cool.
But it needed some love. So you get a guitar in like this.
Yeah.
Where do you start?
Well, first of all, I'd always check the neck, make sure everything's fine. So I'll do that quickly now.
Okay.
So where you do that, get it. That's how I do it anyway. Balance it on your toes, and you look through your dominant eye if you're being geeky, and you line the edges of the frets up so they become a line.
Right.
Does that make sense? And then you look for any lumps and bumps. Now this is pretty good. So on the bass side, it's pretty near enough. Damn it, it's dead straight with a little wave.
Right.
The treble side is dipping down slightly, then coming up and then going away. Again, we're talking tiny, tiny, tiny amounts.
Okay.
But that's kind of normal. You do get, because the grain in the wood is, there's little differences in it.
Sure.
And that'll give you different amounts of tension on each side,
Right.
and then the neck will move a little bit strangely. But it looks pretty cool. And then you can follow the shadows of the strings over the frets to see if there's any lumps and bumps. That's all looking fine. So we should.
So if that was an issue,
Yeah.
what would you have to do? Would you have to do a full fret dress?
Full fret dress, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's sort of super simple. So then you know that the neck is as good as it can be, and then you
Right.
set it up from there.
Right.
And then we'll just plug it in and see how crackly she is, and go from there. Okay. So you can hear that. Well, the first thing, you can hear that crackle when you move the jack.
Yeah.
So that means that the sort of collar of the jack, that's got started to oxidize and stuff. So the
Schmunt.
yes.
Yes.
So that we need to either clean or replace that.
Okay. It's terrible. It's terrible.
But that means that the wiper is leaving the track.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it can't fix that, unfortunately. Well, I'd say we'd be better off just stripping it down and replacing it all.
I think so. I think so.
And sort of tonally, you're going for like jazz stuff, obviously.
Yeah.
So are you wanting kind of sort of your classic big body Gibson-y kind of thing? Are you looking for something a little bit different?
No, I think I want it to be as traditional as possible.
Okay.
Because I've got the telly for the solid body jazz thing, and the neck pickup on the telly. I love that, the tonality, the jazz stuff on that, the tonality of that. But for this, I want to be as traditional as possible.
Okay. Cool. I reckon if we go a set of paths in here, and then we'll replace the loom, but we'll do it, because typically these are wired, the tones are wired sort of the modern way. So we'll flip it to 50s, which gives you that more clarity.
Beautiful.
And the reason that is because the tone control is slaved off the output of the volume rather than the input.
Yes.
So the pickup's not seeing the tone cap all the time.
Nice.
So you get more, it sort of breathes it a bit more. And also it makes the tone more usable, doesn't muddy as much.
What we'll do, we'll put a diagram up now so that you can see, because a lot of people ask about the 50s wiring thing.
Right.
So here's a traditional one. What would you call the non-50s wiring?
We call it modern wiring.
Modern wiring.
It's not modern wiring because like Fender used it in like the early broadcasters and telecasters
Right, okay,
and stuff.
yeah.
But it's just the way we refer to it.
Okay. and this is the 50s wiring.
Yeah.
Where you can see the reversal of the lugs.
The caps.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Okay. Let battle commence.
Let's strip her down.
So what's your preferred method of, I guess because you're pulling, we're getting rid of all this, so you don't have to worry about putting the tubing and stuff on.
No.
Right.
But, I've been blessed or cursed with really small hands. So for me, rewiring a 335 or anything like that is actually fairly easy.
Really?
I can get my fingers in. And
that's amazing.
And the only one is the jack, which on a 335 is up here.
Right.
but I've got, where is it? Most of my tools are quite sort of Heath Robinson, kind of not fancy at all. Where is it? So this is what I use for getting a jack in. It's a piece of fretwire with a jack on the end. Yeah, just glued it on. But that
is classic.
Yeah, I'll be using it on this actually.
Brilliant.
But yeah, you just put it through here and you can knock the jack on, pull it back, bish bash bosh, done.
Awesome.
Always have a pot to put your screws in.
Right.
The amount of times I've been digging around on the floor. See there? This all just cracked and stuff. We should be able to salvage it.
Okay.
Just glue it up, clamp it, and then by the time we get everything back in, it should be all solid and good to go.
And a proper floating bridge. Do you do things like? I know some people put little bits of wet dry underneath.
Yeah.
To hold them down, but I've
find
never had a problem with it. Do you have any tricks for that?
You can put pins in, which is what you get on the modern Gretches. Actually, that's the best way.
Right.
If you use sandpaper, you quite often you'll hit it or move it, and then you'll end up with like a little bit around on there. You know, so it works, but I wouldn't advise it.
No.
You can. I've seen people glue them, but I wouldn't do that.
No, right.
Because you know everything shifts over time, so
Sure.
it's just like intonation, making sure you can alter it all the time.
Okay. I haven't had a problem with it so far, so
I reckon if you haven't, I'd
leave it.
tend to leave it. Yeah. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The worst one is when people use tape and it just goes all gunky and can eat into the lacquer, especially with like old Gibsons and anything like nitro.
I don't think anything would eat into this lacquer.
No, this is good old nail polish. This one.
One thing that an issue that I have had with this guitar, look at that, is that there's been a rattle in there that I have not been able to work out for the life of me. So
we'll see if we can get to the bottom of that. Right, it should all come out.
Oh wow, look at that.
Yeah, where's this? That must be this.
Is it the earth?
Yeah.
So is that going through to the
tailpiece? Well, I might just take that off and just give you a longer one.
Yeah, great.
Wicked. Yeah, so you can see it coming out there.
There it is.
That little blighter.
Yeah. Oh, gross. That is so gross. That's where the tone is.
Yeah. Right, so there's the old stuff. Right, let's clean it up. First, we're going to clean the frets up, because that's going to get some of the stuff we use will go all over the body and stuff, so then we can clean that up.
Right.
Get it all spangly and new.
Lovely.
So, wire wool. You can see them come up already.
Yeah, wow.
It's getting there.
That's why it's called the dusty end.
Very dusty now. It's classic. T-cuts.
on the
frets.
Yeah,
oh,
really?
Yeah. Use it to buff it up. It makes them fit. It makes them feel really like slinky and smooth.
Wow.
Just get some. Put it all down the neck. Always put the lid on because you'll knock it over. Again, you see? That's like, once we buff that with a clean piece, there you go.
Look at that.
It's like night and day. As you can see, you've been playing all over the place. All the wear. It's nice to see nice even wear like that. Usually it's here and there.
I'm really glad it didn't need a full fret dress.
Yeah. It should be absolutely fine.
Yeah.
You usually, with all this kind of stuff, when things become a problem, then do it. Don't sort of force it. Just going to get rid of all the sort of bits of crud underneath the frets.
Okay.
We use a super high tech thing for this. It's a toothbrush. So yeah, toothbrush and lighter fluid. So you angle the toothbrush into the fret.
Right.
And that'll get rid of most of, well, pretty much anything.
And the lighter fluid, because it evaporates completely?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It softens any grime, just gets rid of it.
Do we get to use some of your special Monty fretboard stuff?
Yeah.
Wicked.
Of course.
I've been fascinated by that, actually. Because my old Red, my custom shop telly, had an unusually light fingerboard that I was bemoaning for years. You know, 2,000 gigs later, it's now nice and dark.
Yeah.
But it took that long to get it looking sort of, you know, rich and full. But you've got a special formula to help darken up the light boards.
It's where is it? Well, I use it in mugs for mug form because I use so much of it like that.
Okay.
It's just a cup of poo. But yeah, MontePresso, this stuff. So what this does is it soaks into the tubes that make up the wood, and then the pigment that we use goes into those and then darkens it up. It's it's quite slow acting because I didn't want anything really quick, because you could use an oil or a direct stain, but if that gets on anything, you're knackered.
Yeah, right.
So this is like the safer way of doing it. Cool. And then we just go full Jimmy. There you go.
Wow.
Cool. So that's it all clean. But now, because the lighter fluids or naphtha will dry the board out, so we now need to moisturise it.
Right. Okay.
We'll do that with MontePresso.
So it contains oils and stuff as
oils
well.
and beeswax.
Oh wow!
I found this company that was when I was back in London, that worked with beekeepers within the M25. So it's like London beeswax, which is really
amazing!
Cool. That's really cool. You know, like they've got beehives on top of like hotels and stuff in town, which is really, really cool.
There'd be some funky tasting honey.
Yeah. Soho honey. Yeah, one thing I would say is, I forgot to put gloves on. So.
Oh, okay.
Cool. So leave that for a bit. I'll clean my hands up, and I'll get the rest of the guitar clean, and then I'll make the loom whilst that's allowed to give that time to soak in.
Okay.
And then away we go. Okay. So this is really, really cool stuff. It's actually a motorbike polish, and the story is when I started Monty's, I sold my motorbike, which then funded me for a few months.
No way.
Yeah. And I had all, because I'm a geek and get really into stuff. I had all the cleaning stuff and everything.
I don't know what that's like.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I ran out. I used to use Jim Dunlop, standard spray.
Yeah.
And I had an old Gretsch that I was working on. I needed to get done that day, and I ran out. And it was just, the cleaning part. I mean, I like to hand a guitar back to somebody, and it's got to smell nice, feel nice, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I was just like, oh crap, what am I going to do? I haven't got anything. And there was like, try this. And it was, it's old Gretsch, so nitro, horrible. I tried it on a tiny area, and it came up so nice. And also the benefit of it, it's got some sort of, I don't know, Teflon or something in it. So if you put it on the back of the neck, I'll try it. You'll try it later. It just makes it feel like glass. It's super, super, super smooth. And I've never had it react weird on anything. And a bottle of like this is like 15 quid.
Wow, okay.
So yeah.
Have at it.
Yeah, it's good. It's the good stuff. Cool, so I'll show you how this comes up really nice. Feel that? It's like really... Of course, if you feel it, that's like silky smooth.
Oh,
do you see what I mean?
Goodness.
So having that on the back of your neck is like...
Wow. That's huge.
It's crazy. Cool. think that might need a second coat. We can do that later. Just get this stuff off here. Yeah, I'll do the rest of the guitar in the next three. Right, let's move her somewhere safe. Yeah, so like that, so people can see them.
Oh, fantastic!
And I've got another one with the the modern style, so you can see the difference.
Oh, lovely.
Do you want 2 2s on both neck and bridge, or a 15 on the neck?
To be honest, I'll only be using the neck.
Yeah.
But whatever traditionally.
Okay, we'll just go standard 2 2s.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and check these out. I had made some caps.
Oh my goodness!
These are our own ones, because the ones I love are these green Russian ones, like these.
Right.
But these are getting so hard to find,
yeah.
and just so like crazy money. So about 3 years ago now, we started working with a guy to create our own that sound the same.
Right.
And then these were born. So we've got but me being me, I had to put a cap on it.
Very good.
Cool. So there's all your bits, like there.
Fantastic.
So turn this into something that sounds epic.
So this is basically your blueprint for a wiring loom.
Yeah. So this is, this is a Les Paul one, but it's just because your pots are pretty much the same layout.
Okay.
So I just have to make sure there's a bit more slack in the connecting wires, and then it should slot in fine. But it's just doing it this way. It just keeps everything secure.
That's so clever. So when someone buys a loom from you, they'll come like this.
Yeah.
Okay, that's so great.
Yeah, they come like this, wrapped in some garish colour paper that I love, and you get. I've made some Illuminati stickers. So. Right. So first things first, we're gonna prep all the solder joints.
Okay.
Awesome. Cool. So those done. And then we've got pick up in and out. Pick up out. Oh, so she's back. The neck's all been marinating nicely. So I'll clean that off, and then we can finish the electrics, get it, and start looking at the pickups.
So this is
That's the
all done.
Yeah, the volume and tone.
That is so cool. Your own capacitors.
I know.
That's so cool.
It's literally, it's it's ultimate geekery, but I'm pretty big geekery.
Hello. So you're saying that this wire is actually made by the same company that made the wire for the Gibsons back in the 50s?
Yeah. It's a company called Gavitt. Who I was trying to look for them for ages, and this is how I kind of you stumble across things every now and again, and I can't remember if it was Bare Knuckle or Seymour Duncan. I think it was Seymour Duncan. I was looking at their factory tours on YouTube,
right,
to see how they make stuff and if I could make myself more efficient and that kind of thing. And I saw this reel of wire in the background, and just caught the beginning of the name, like the Gavi. So I was just like, I was Googling like Gavin and all this kind of thing, wire, and Gavitt came up. So I then looked into it, and lo and behold, there's forums full of people talking about it.
Sorry, I'm just nervous you're putting on the gloves like that.
Yeah, bend over.
Moon River.
Exactly. No, it's just because of this stuff.
Yes, of course.
And then, so I contacted them, and then the rest is kind of, wiry history.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's still a family-owned business too, which is nice. So we want to get most of this off, and then we can start buffing it.
Oh, lovely. So this conditions the wood.
Yep.
All the moisture that was
Taken out
has now gone back in.
Yeah, and also because it's a wax, it stays in there for longer.
Oh,
so,
okay.
I mean, this is what people use on like furniture and stuff.
Right.
It's very similar.
Right.
I did use, well, when I was developing the instrument food stuff, and that was because I was using like what they call it, like a finishing wax.
Right.
That's got like terps and weird that stinks.
Right.
So I wanted to create something that was all natural. Lemon oil is really, really good as more of a cleaner. Sure. Because it's got naphtha in it, so which evaporates. So it's really good for getting stuff off, but for actually moisturising the wood, it's not the best thing.
I think guitars know when you look after them.
Yeah.
They take better care of you. They reveal some other notes.
Yes.
That were beforehand.
They
had
wouldn't
been kept hidden, secret from you.
Cool, so they're nearly getting there. You just have to buff it off until nothing comes off.
Right.
So that means all the wax and the stain and everything's in the grains.
Right.
Grain. It's good to leave a little bit of it in the nut because
really?
Yeah, it just works as a lubricant.
Okay.
But with the instrument food, I use it. I use it on anywhere that the string touches.
Okay.
So on a Strat, for example, you put a bit on the hole where the string goes through, a bit on the saddle, a bit on the nut, a bit under the string tree, and that way you're minimising friction.
Yes.
So it's like this one that I just put together. I mean, you can literally just hold it by the whammy bar, and it stays in tune. Yeah. It's also got that, the Jeff Beck trick where you angle the claw. Have you heard about that?
No.
So what you do, I thought this was absolute rubbish until somebody proved me wrong. So, so what you do is you've got more tension on the bass side than the treble side, and that helps keep it in tune.
It makes so much sense.
But I stood there. The guy, he was like, "Can you do it like this?" I was like, "It makes no difference. It's absolute rubbish." He was like, "Please just try it." It's the last thing. I was like, "All right, I'll try it." And then I had to eat my own words, because it works.
That's amazing.
I'm just roughing out the wires, so that's the output wire that will go to the jack.
Right.
Because the way it goes is you've got pickups that will go to the volume controls, and then out from the volume controls to the switch, and then
yes, it's convoluted, doesn't it?
Yeah. So you've got this thing.
Let's just move this here.
Yeah, we can do that. So I get the two pickup wires, but then at the bottom, so you kind of create a triangle.
Right.
And then you get this, wrap it around.
Oh, nice.
And that'll keep that all together. And we just have to solder them. And away you go. That's the neck one. It's got a little arrow pointing to a giraffe's neck. And that's the bridge one.
That's very good. That's very good.
All I need to do is put a decal on the back, sign it, and double check the magnetic polarity.
Okay.
And then we're good to go. Right, let's get this puppy in. It's just going to be a little bit fiddly.
Oh, that is some skill. Holding that on there by the
nail.
Very, very good.
Yeah, man. So that's straight. Yeah. It's because this is slightly off. There's a problem with those old switches is because they're a block, you can't get into clean them or anything or do anything with them.
Yeah.
So you're going to strip off a little bit of the blade. Get rid of any kind of excess bits. And this part of the braid's going to go onto that solder blob there.
Okay, yep.
And then trim that down so it'll just tap into where the tone cap is.
Right.
Got to make that string ground.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, I don't want to. Right. here we go. So the wire will then be pinched up against the tailpiece.
Yep.
What I'm going to do now is just wrap this around the bridge pickup lead wire.
Oh, cool.
So that'll stay there, and that'll, because everything's connected.
Yes, of
that'll
course. Yeah.
Yeah. So you want a nice smooth. You want to see it on both sides and over there.
Yeah.
So that's a nice strong connection.
Beautiful.
Okay, so this is to stop stripping out the thread. This is how you do it. So what you do is you put the screw in like that, and you turn it backwards until it drops like that. And that means that the thread is in the thread that it had cut already. So you're not creating a new one.
That's so cool.
There you go.
Wow.
There's one. The bridge tone is usually the hardest one to get in. Here we go. There you go. There you go.
Oh, fantastic.
Push that down. Now, do you still work? That's the big question.
Hurrah!
There you go.
Well done, mate. Awesome.
So just connect the string ground. So nip a bit of the cloth off and just bend it over like that. And then as the tailpiece is on, it will just pull it in, creating the contact and then linking everything up. So when you put your hands on the strings, no noise.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's all clean from where it's going to be.
Right.
Don't know what. That's like a conky.
You don't want to know.
I'll go get my tetanus. Right. Daniel. That's the...
Finding that right thread matters. Right? Yeah.
Because there's going to be a lot of tension on those screws. So it's similar to...
want it biting into new stuff. Destroying the old.
Making the hole bigger each time.
Yeah.
That's why things like if you're like a constant tinkerer and like adjusting, you know, or you've got a neck that moves around, say on a vintage Strat or telly or a heel truss rod Strat or telly, like you can put bolt kits and stuff in them. So you're actually going, instead of going into wood, you're going into metal, and that. Oh, wow. So you're not creating new thread all the time.
Interesting.
I mean, it's something that it's not, it doesn't happen a huge amount of times, but I've seen it. Yeah, so feel how that is just like butter. So good.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, it makes a massive difference. Right, let's get those out of there.
Hang on. That was very cool.
Yeah.
So You just threw a magnet on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a rare earth magnet, and it gets all of that stuff. This is the fingerboard conditioning wax that we use.
Right.
It's similar to the MontePresso, just without the stain and a couple of other bits.
Okay.
Also, the cool thing about this is I'll leave a little bit on the tops of here and the threads because it acts as a bit of a lube, so it makes it easy to adjust.
Right.
Get my old toothbrush again. Also going to put some on the top of the saddles, just again it helps with, with friction and string breaking and stuff. Right, let's get some strings on this thing. Cool. Do you know how to check for whether a string's good or not?
No.
It's another thing. So if you hold a string up, it should, like that, be a nice C.
Okay.
If there's anything going wrong and go funky in the metal, it'll do. You'll get a kink in it, or it'll go into like an S shape, and that won't vibrate properly ever. So you'll get. If you ever have like a rattly string, you can try changing it because it physically is moving differently, and it just won't intonate right. All those kind of things. So always check your strings before you put them on.
That's amazing.
There you go. So this is the way I restring like 3-a-side headstock. So you make sure the hole's facing down the neck. Mm-hmm. Put it through like a machine head and a half.
Okay.
And then pull it back. And see how my fingers in like a weird arabesque thing. It should be this way. Always get it the wrong way first. There we go. As soon as it's kind of 180 degrees, you can actually put a lot of tension on there.
Right.
So the first wrap goes below the string, second one goes above it,
Yep.
then you pull it down, and that creates a cross on the string, which helps it stay in tune. It's kind of like tying a knot in it, or threading it through again, but if you're in the heat of battle at a gig and you need to change the string, you literally just pull it off. There's just extra security.
Very good. I like that.
Again, it's another one of those things that I thought was rubbish until somebody proved me wrong. I like being proved wrong. Cool. Stretch these in. So I was just gonna roughly check the intonation.
Okay.
Just so we can get this roughly in the right place.
Yeah.
But then it's just standard setup stuff, which is always truss rod, nut, then bridge, and then intonation. You always do it in that way.
Okay.
So everything's balanced. So you've got the neck with the right amount of relief, so you know how low the nut can be. Right. And then that will then determine where this is. So it's kind of they're the three things that you have to balance up.
Okay.
See what you mean about the neck? It's really nice.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so I've got my thumb on the 13th and then fret the 1st, and you want roughly like a 10 gauge string.
Oh, that's interesting.
So you want roughly a 10 gauge string under here. So
you're fretting at the F, and then you're going up to the F
octave,
of the octave, yeah.
And then tapping on the 6th fret, and I'm looking at that fret there.
Yep.
And you want about a 10 gauge string, so I'm just going to slacken the truss rod off a little bit.
Okay.
But then, if you're going to be putting heavier gauge strings on it, it might be worth keeping it where it is.
Okay.
Because it's perfect on the treble side, and that should pull it into being bob on right.
Let's leave that where it is then.
Okay. Right, so it's the nut. Okay, so what I do, I'm fretting at the 4th.
Yep.
And you want to be able, on the high E string, I mean, this nut is actually cut perfectly, so it's fine. On the high E string, you want to be able to hardly see a gap, but hear one.
Yep.
Don't know if you can hear that. Mm-hmm. So that, and then the B needs to be like a fraction above that, higher, which it is, and the G a little bit more so.
Yep.
And so on.
All the way down. Yeah.
So you've got this slight rake. You should be able to put your hand across it and feel it falling away, which is exactly what this is doing without me touching it at all.
Awesome.
So well done, whoever did it before. Okay, so what I'm looking for here is on the 12th fret. Mm-hmm. Now all the rest of it is set. Got my rule on the top of the 12th fret. You've got to keep it dead, like right at 90 degrees. You can see how the string's crossing through the 2 mil mark.
Yes.
Which is that's kind of your 7¼ inch radius kind of action.
Okay.
That's the kind of almost as low as you can take it normally.
Right.
But what we want here is that to be like 1.5, maybe 1.4. See if we can get it so it's not choking.
Okay.
Although I suppose if you're doing jazz, you're not going to be doing a lot of bending, really.
Not a huge amount of Ernie's in jazz.
Yeah. Cool, so I've set it, so it's just a bit under 1.5 on the top.
Okay.
And then just a smidge under 2 mil on the bass. Again, you want that nice rake feel. It sort of makes it comfortable and everything. So if you have a quick play on that, if that's cool.
Yep. I think I might need it a little bit higher.
Yep.
It's all right. Man, it feels lovely.
Yeah, it's gonna. Cool, so that's good. Cool. Give that a quick go.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cool because everybody's got a slight different setup, feel, the way that it feels comfortable.
Sure. Yeah, man, that's it.
Wicked.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Because we can get the intonation sorted, then we can sort the pickup heights out.
Okay, so the height's right. So now you do intonation, is that right?
Intonation is always the last thing that you do.
Oh, okay.
Because if you make any changes anywhere else, it can move it slightly. I mean, only very slightly, but you want it to be the last thing you do.
Got it. So you're playing an open string, a harmonic.
Yeah, harmonic at the 12th.
Yep.
And then I'm fretting it at the 12th.
Yep.
And looking for the difference. And it's the fretted, so the fretted note is, in this case, is very slightly sharp. So I need to just lengthen it a little bit. So
you lengthen it by?
By adjusting the screw there. So he's going to pull the saddle back.
So that little saddle piece there, by changing the screw, is going to change the point at which increase the length of the vibration, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Like if the fret is flat, so what you do, because of the intonation point on the fret is smack in the middle.
Yeah, right.
So if it flattens out, then
of course,
it moves.
of course.
So it all changes, which is why keeping your frets in good condition is a good thing. Mm-hmm. Set up. So you've just got to sort out the pickups and then you're good to go.
Okay. So yeah, pickup height.
Yeah. Always do it by ear. And humbuckers are actually easier than single coils because what you've got with single coils is the you know, they've got the magnets incredibly close to the strings.
Right.
So they can affect the way the string moves. And what you'll get, I'll see if I can try and get this one to do it, but you get what's called wolf tones if they're too close. So that's the magnetic field stopping the string vibrating as it should do.
Sure.
So yeah, can you hear that?
Yeah, yeah.
So you play the note, it goes, like chokes it down. Get it, but to be fair, you don't want it that high anyway. Yeah, once you've got it with your rig and stuff, you might want to play around with it a bit.
Sure.
But
Wow.
see, it's like nice and chimey.
That's beautiful.
Right, so that's this one needs to come up a bit. The bridge pickup, you need to worry less about it creating wolf tones because I mean the thing is because it's harder to move the string here than it is
there. Okay. There you go.
Cool.
What about screw height? Do you ever adjust those? Pole pieces.
I don't. The original, when Seth Lover designed it, they had no screws.
That's right.
Yeah. So and that was a marketing department saying that people need something to fiddle with, which, you know, I think they sound best flat. I think like even
as in flat to the cover.
Yeah. So I have them so. You've got the screw coming up like that, and then you've got this slight dome.
Okay.
I have it so the dome is just above the pickup itself.
Right.
That's how I like it. I know some people do swear, but it does make a difference. And you know, everything makes a difference. But for me, I have them flat. I have like most of the pickups I've designed, like the full Monty ones, like the Strat ones. They're flat. It's the same. Jason Lawler says the same thing. They keep them flat, and you get a nice even response.
That's amazing.
But it's how you. It's not only the magnet height and all that. Those that come into EQ in a pickup. There's lots of other bits.
Yes, of course.
You know. But for my ears, I like them flat.
That sounds beautiful. Dude.
Try rolling the volume back a little bit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and also now with that 50s style wiring, the tone and the volume control a little bit interactive. So you got loads of little things if you play around with those.
Yeah, man. This is gonna work.
Nice chord.
So there it is, the revival of the old J6. Mate, thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure.
I am blown away by how transformed the guitar is.
Yeah, it's
very,
amazing.
very cool.
A bit of spit and polish, new Leckies.
Yeah.
Set up.
It's well, since I've owned it, it's never been this clean. But just how it feels to play.
Yeah.
And even just the little tinker through the katana, the sound of these pickups is immense. All right, well, I'm going to take it home now, plug it in, and have a play. But thank you so much.
No worries, man.
Superstar.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure, man.
there we go, all done. So Matt's done a fantastic job. I think there's a lot to be said for just giving the guitar some care and attention. I mean, just cleaning it up, cleaning up the fretboard has made the guitar so much more playable. The pickups, I think, are gorgeous. They really suit this guitar. You know, like I said, the guitar has always played really well, but I think when you give that little bit of extra care and attention, you do get rewarded for it. Yeah, so anyway, massive thank you to Matt Gleeson from Monty's for helping me sort this out. I'm really happy with the idea that this guitar is going to do me for the next 5 years while I'm waiting for my custom Jazzer, but it's a great guitar. You know, I'm certainly not going anywhere. You know, it's got its own thing. I really like it. Hope you enjoyed that. Again, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Check out thatpedalshowstore.com for all the merch and stuff. Yeah, but hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments below and we'll see if we can sort you out. Brilliant. Have a great day and see you soon. Bye.